Greetings, everybody. Look what showed up in the mail a couple of days ago. My long-awaited Tesla Model 3 roof rack. I was looking forward to getting this. It took a while. It's been on and off the website for quite a bit, and finally showed up. So we're going to take a look at this. I'm going to unbox it, and then we're going to do an installation. I'm going to do another video where I do a range test with the car without the rack, the car with the rack, and the car with a Thule cargo carrier on top of the car. So watch for that. But we'll do an unboxing here shortly and see what we got here. Okay, getting ready to install. So I've laid out the parts. I want to show you what all comes with it. Starting from the top there, that front bar, the smaller bar, is the rear crossbar. The larger one of the two is the front crossbar. Got the crossbar covers that snap into the ends that cover up the hardware once you get everything installed. Those are on the end there. You got the tool, the clip tool that you pry up the rubber seal with underneath the glass, and right next to that is the hex wrench. Got the, I think those things are called clips. Yeah, those are clips there that actually go under the glass. The wing nuts. You'll see the installation of that in a few minutes. Then we have the front and back pads that the bars actually sit on the roof, and the keys, and some anti-abrasion tape. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use this or not. I actually saw someone else do an installation, and it was worse than putting protective glass over your phone, the face of your phone. I just don't know if I'm going to do it or not. It doesn't look good, and I've got to believe that these rubber mats are going to protect the paint well enough that the anti-abrasion tape won't be necessary. I just think it'll look worse with that on there. So I'm going to think about that, and we'll see during the installation. I'm sure you've all seen this before, but I'm going to try to show it to you maybe on a close-up shot here. Don't know how well this will pick up out here in the bright sun, but the alignment marks on your car, on your roof, you've probably seen this before, but there's a notch, and there's an arrow. And when you come down towards the front glass, there is no notch on the front of this one, but you can see there's the arrow right there, and there's the rear notch. See if I can show you on the other side. Hard for me to line this up because the sun's behind me now, so it may pick up better on the camera, but it's hard for me to align it. My pinpoint is right on the arrow there, and there's the front notch and the rear notch, if that's showing up. I'll slide on down to see the front. Actually, maybe I can zoom in here. Right there is the notch on the front. So, oops, a little too much there. So right there's the notch. There's a notch and there's the arrow. So this thing is going to sit pretty far forward actually on the roof, which Seems a little odd, but we'll get it up there and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, first step is to mount the clips in. So to do that, you have to actually put it underneath the gasket, and the gasket, you'll see that when you're getting your stuff ready, that the gasket runs right up against that. And this is where, again, they want you to put the protective tape. I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna use another method. I'm going to actually use post-it notes here, because the only thing that's going to scar your car up really are these things. So they're kind of going to bump against the inside, which doesn't, those protective pads don't go in there anyway. So disclaimer, if you're going to do this, do it at your own risk, but I'm going to take a gamble and try to go without using those. So the idea is to get this under the gasket, as so, trying to keep up with where everything is, and then you're going to set your piece down in like this. I hope the camera's picking that up good. So once I get that under there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a post-it note so that I can remove it later. I'm going to slide that down underneath, and that's going to protect my paint from any scratches from the hook there. So it's underneath there pretty good. It's right where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to slide this back out, and now I can see that my piece, and you can kind of feel that it's in where it's supposed to be. So I'll leave that there for now until after I get the feet mounted. So I want to do the next one up front. And again, the arrow is right here, just in front of the front glass there. So a little tricky sometimes getting this in here, but that one went in pretty good. Take a foot. Take a foot and slide it down and in. This one's going to be a little rougher because it's right at the edge of the glass, but there it goes. And you can feel you can't turn it up unless it's at the slot. So that one's there. Put a post-it note down in here. That'll protect that. Again, once I put the boot on, I'll slide that out. So I'm going to go to the other side and get those. That one went in extremely easy, and that came out. Again, this is where I'll use some post-it notes to protect the finish. I don't think it's going to move around too much. You can see over on that side I've got the post-it notes already in there, I'm sorry. Now that one I'm just going to put there. Be easy enough to take out when I get the boot on. The foot, or whatever they call that. Trying to get post-it notes out of my pocket one-handed. Doesn't work too well, but there we go. So again, that'll slide out. But I'm only doing that because it moves around a little bit when you're getting the boot on. Okay. Again, this particular boot goes to the back, so we'll fit it down in like that, and we'll go ahead and remove the protective post-it note. This one goes up here. Okay, here comes the fun stuff. Time to mount the first bar. And the first bar is the small one. And I know that that goes up front because of the way the diagram tells me. So I will place that into the hole onto the foot. That one sat right down on it very nicely. As it did on the other side. And I'll get the front crossbar and do the same. There we go, it's mounted in. I want to show you something real quick. Okay, what I want you to see here, I watched a video. Someone was nice enough to put a video on when he first got his roof rack around Christmas time or New Year's time. I believe it was, he was in Canada. It was very snowy wherever he was. And his bolts that were sticking up through the feet of his pad were barely coming up. Now I don't know if this is something. Maybe this is what took me so long to get my rack. Was actually he had hardly any threads to be able to thread his nuts down onto, his wing nuts. So I've got plenty here. He didn't, but I do. So I just wanted you to see that. Same on this one. Not as much as the back one, but I do have something to lock onto here where he didn't have hardly anything on his. So that's looks like that's going to be a big difference on maybe some of the earlier kits and some of the later kits that have come out. So yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to get the wing nuts on. Okay, here's another look at that. I'll try to get a little closer maybe where you can see how much thread I've got. I'm trying to stay out of the sun here, but I got like 1/4 of an inch, it looks like, of thread sticking out of this one. Come to the back one, I've probably got, looks like about 1/2 an inch on that one. So plenty of room. And it says to hand tighten them at first. So that's what I'm going to do. Sorry, it's a little tough when you're holding the camera and holding the other wing nuts. So I'm going to leave that one for now because this one looks like it's going to be easier to do. See the notches on there, if you can see that. That's what's going to happen is the key is actually going to bring up a little notched piece that's going to lock into this bolt to keep it from untightening on you while you're on the road. So nice little feature there. Thank you, Tesla, for thinking about that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one on, turn it around, hand tighten. Now maybe I can get this on easier since I don't have another one in my hand. Okay. Alright, that's hand tightened. Okay, well, I actually was able to borrow a torque wrench from my neighbor, but again, this thing's supposed to be tightened down. These are supposed to be tightened down to 8 Newton meters, give or take 1, I think it is. This thing is notched off where you can see it's 10, 20, 40, whatever. So I'm gonna try this and see what happens here. So wish me luck. I'm going to actually try to turn it by hand with the hex wrench that came with it and see how tight that feels. And it still feels like it could go a little bit. I'm going to go another notch there. And let's check this one out. Yeah, that one actually feels like it's got a lot of room to go. I think actually if you use it this way, you're not going to tighten it too much. One more on this baby. Did you hear the little pop? Okay, then back on this side. One more right there. That should be good. I'm not going to go any further. Then key in. Key in brings the pin up apparently. Can't see the pin. You can see the pin on the front one. You really can't see the pin on the back one. So let me show you that again in case it didn't turn out good. And now time to run another test. That's what it looks like on the car. Try to step back enough where you can get a real good glimpse at it. But here it is. Looking for some good watt hours per mile with this thing. So we, as you recall from earlier in the video, we had better results with the actually with the crossbars on than we did without them. So I'm curious what this test is going to reveal. But there it is. That's what it looks like with the actual cargo container on top, and we'll go from there. I will say I've got winter tires on and some different types of wheels on than I would with with a summer trip. I'd have summer tires on, and I would have the arrows on, so that may make a difference in the your mileage may vary part of the equation. And I do want to shout out to Evolve KY, our electric vehicle group. Hey guys. All right, let's get this show on the road.